Six.
Done. Gujarat. Goa.
Manipur. Siddharth. Zero.
Kerala.
Kerala. Siddharth.
Rajasthan.
It's noise.
Nagaland.
Siddharth.
Rajasthan.
Noise. 89. Majority. 89.
Gujarati. Raj.
Siddharth. Minus 1. Siddharth plus 1. It's already Siddharth.
Jharkhand.
Siddharth. It's already Siddharth. No, but not, yeah. Jharkhand has Siddharth, so to Siddharth 238 in the 456, 476.
Actually.
No, else. 5.
Majority.
No,
10.
yeah.
10.
Plus 10. It's no. Siddharth. Noels.
Kerala.
Siddharth.
Telangana.
Noels.
Delhi.
Noels. No double. Noels. 187. Delhi. UP. 22. Noels. Noels. 0. Siddharth. 9. Majority. 22. Zero. Noels. Siddharth.
So I'm going to explain about the gameplay of Contropoly. So first, the board structure is what we're going to discuss here. So it's a hexagon with 42 blocks. And since we have 29 states and 9 union territories, it's segregated accordingly. And the empty spaces that come in between is the bonus and the penalty. So we start the game by deciding the ruling party and the opposition party of every state and union territory. So how that is decided, basically each player takes the dice and rolls it. So once the rolling is done, they see what the numbers and who gets the highest numbers, they are given the ruling party and the other person the opposition party. Similarly, this manner continues until every state and union territory is over and they segregate themselves into the ruling party and the opposition party of the particular state. After that's done, we have divided these states into 6 sections, which is basically the north, south, east, west, central, and the union territories. Now, since each person, like the 2 players that's playing, has got particular, that he's the ruling party of this particular state and union territory. So if that person has got the majority in the particular section, then it includes to their points. So it is also determined previously. Now we are going to discuss about the rules of the game. So each player takes turns to roll the dice. No player at any point in the game is allowed to sell their turn and cannot choose not to play. So switching a team member is not allowed, or a single die is used by both the players while deciding the ruling party in each state, but multiple dice are used while playing the board game. Handing over the complete power of the multiple states in a single negotiation is not allowed, even though handing over particular assets, mining projects, or multiple states are. The overall ruling party starts with a fund of 1,500 rupees, while the opposition starts at 1,000, because once he gets the overall, he's given the higher amount of money. So that's it with the rules and the gameplay of the event.
Okay, so I'm going to explain the parameters in the states and union territories used in this game. Each state or union territory is characterized by gross domestic product, mining sites, and percentage of population below the poverty line. The total income of a state or union territory is calculated by adding up the GDP and the mining sites, and the below poverty line divided by 10 is subtracted from the sum. Now I'll explain the demonstration of the game. Both players start from the allocated position. One player rolls the die and moves to a block containing a particular state or a union territory. Here, three situations may arise. The player goes to a state or union territory where they're the ruling party or where they're the opposing party. If the player goes to the state or union territory where they're the opposing party but the ruling party does not have a majority in segregation, they'll have to pay a sum to the ruling party, which is determined by the parameters which I just mentioned. If the player is also in the state, if the player is also in state or union territory where the opposing party and also the ruling party has a majority in the segregated region, it could be north, south, east, west, or central, they pay the double sum initially required. If they're in a state or union territory where they're the ruling party, they would have to do nothing and the other player takes their turn. This process is continued till one person goes bankrupt.
I'm going to explain the strategies involved in this game. So instead of handling over direct money, the player in debt can negotiate with the person who they are in debt to by selling over their mines in the state where the party in debt is ruling. They can also hand over their complete power in a chosen state. The party can also ask the party in debt to hand over a particular state so that they would get a majority in that segregation. During the demonstration of our game in the video, Party S owed Party N 193 rupees, but since the Party S's fund contained only 125 rupees, they negotiated a deal. So here Party N asked S to hand over the rights in either Maharashtra or Haryana to acquire a majority in the West segregation. But Party S didn't wanna sell over their rights in Maharashtra since it was one of the economical states. They did not want to sell their power in Haryana since it can only give 59 rupees and S would still be indebted to N and N would acquire a majority in a neutral segregation. Instead, they presented a counter offer where they would sell over 190 mines in Jharkhand where S resides in power. N negotiated a deal where S was persuaded to sell over all their mines in Jharkhand so that when N lands in Jharkhand, they would only have to pay the difference between income from GDP and BPL percentage divided by 100. 10.